Hey everybody, we just finished the new documentary American Nightmare, Becoming Cody Rhodes, and just wanted to share our thoughts. And of course, this is No Bones About Wrestling. I am Asa, and I'm here with Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And we just wanted to share our thoughts about it. It was very good, very entertaining documentary. Covered quite a bit of stuff. Covered from Cody's childhood to up to WrestleMania 39. Was very interesting. Got a lot of Cody's views on how his life and career have been going. What'd you think of it, Kay?
I love any kind of behind the scenes glimpse of the wrestling world just because it's so foreign and different compared to our everyday lives.
Right.
And this was just a beautiful glimpse into that world, you know? I feel like not only did we see it from a family member of a wrestler perspective with Cody's childhood, but also from a person trying to make their way up in the industry early on in his youth, to someone who got frustrated and disenfranchised and still pursued it just independently. It was very interesting, like the spectrum of not only his career, but also his emotions and like telling the story.
Yeah, let's talk about that. He at first was Cody Rhodes, and I don't think that got him many places. And then he became Dashing Cody Rhodes, and would give male grooming tips about what length to cut your fingernails and what length to cut your hair and things like this. Yeah.
Like beauty and fashion advice.
Beauty and fashion advice for men.
So that you too could be dashing.
Yeah. And that kind of got over. He did that. And then eventually WWE, in their infinite wisdom, they gave him the character of Stardust, which at first was supposed to be this sort of interplanetary figure, extraplanetary figure, whatever you call him, an alien kind of superhero, supervillain, I'm not sure what, but something like that, like a superhero or supervillain. But eventually just became a miniature version of Goldust. Not a miniature, a lesser version of Goldust is what I meant to say. A lesser version of Goldust. And that didn't really track with the fans, you know? Not at all, because who wanted that? No one. No one was asking for that.
Yeah.
We want a version of Goldust, except slimmer and not quite as old and with different makeup. No one was requesting that at all. So it didn't connect with anyone because there wasn't anyone asking for it in the first place. So I liked Stardust just because it was different, just because Cody put work into it, and you could tell he did, and that's why I liked it back in the day. I enjoyed it because you could tell he put effort into it. I like Cody Rhodes since he debuted, honestly. I could always see talent and dedication. You just, in his talent, you can see that it obviously took dedication, because it's not just talent. It is talent plus a lot of practice.
See, I never saw the Goldust. Like when I was watching wrestling,
Stardust.
What did I say? I said Goldust. Sorry, Stardust. When I started watching wrestling, he was Dashing Cody Rhodes, and so I was there for all the grooming tips, and then the mask when his nose got broken,
or mask,
quote unquote broken. And so I don't think I ever saw Stardust, and if I did, I don't think I realized it was Cody Rhodes, because I don't think I'd ever seen that before. And then when I saw photos of it, I was like, this looks ridiculous. But then watching this and seeing the footage of it, it was like, oh my God, that poor guy.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you feel so bad for him that he had, like, yes, he was still in WWE and was still a superstar, But, oh, good God. It just...
Yeah, they have him, like, in a party hat doing stupid shit.
Dancing around.
Well, you know how WWE does all this stupid shit.
Yeah.
And especially the stupid shit that they have, like, the C-level people doing, the B and C-level people doing. Any sort of stupid shit that they write. They're like, come over here, do this. We're going to have a barbecue in the backstage area. It's like, what? Yeah, oh, everybody get together. We're going to have a barbecue tonight in the backstage area.
What's so surprising is, like, I saw him, too, when he was Intercontinental Champion. And so the idea of that he was, like, at that level when I was watching, and then was dashing Cody Rhodes, and then went to Stardust, that had to just be so demoralizing, you know?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And so... yeah, he was demoralized and eventually asked for his release and was granted his release. And, you know, a lot of people, they questioned that, and they talked about how his family and his mother even, you know, his mother told him, you know, she was afraid he was going to end up, dead or in jail.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Yeah. That's what his mother said. She was afraid because he didn't go to college, and now he was quitting the bread and butter, you know what I mean? What put bread on his table, WWE. And she said, you're going to end up dead or in jail. So she thought it pretty foolish. But Cody bet on himself, and he took off for all these different independent promotions. And he had a sort of a checklist, an achievements list. I'm going to wrestle this guy. I want my own personal ring announcer. I want this. I want to do this, that, the other. Most of it was wrestling people, but some of it was just specific things he wanted to happen in a match.
Number 2 on the list was Dalton Castle. Nice nod to Dalton Castle in this documentary. I appreciated that.
But yeah, some of it was things he wanted to happen in matches, or types of matches he wanted to have, things like that. And so he went on the indie scene, and he did it. And he wrestled for the independent organization that we've done shows on before, AML Wrestling, America's Most Liked Wrestling, AML Wrestling, out of North Carolina. He came and did a show for them, even. And all of this led to him helping out the Young Bucks. And this is in the documentary, and a lot of people are like, wow, because it's on Peacock, WWE Network, and it has Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks planning All In, which was such an anti-WWE move. I mean, the whole point of All In was for all the fans who were sick of the WWE product and wanted an alternative, you know? I mean, really, that's what it was.
Which, at the time, the quality of the WWE product
was
not what it is now.
No, it was. If you compare it then to, it was atrocious.
Yeah, it was. So, there was so little wrestling on the wrestling show. It was like I stopped watching.
Yeah, no, I would watch off and on. Yeah, kind of, and it sometimes Raw would be tough to watch.
3 hours, man. 3 hours of talking at you.
There was some, and not interesting talking.
No.
Just dumb shit.
Yeah.
It was bad sometimes really bad. Sometimes good. Sometimes good, but most often bad. And sometimes really bad.
Yeah, so I think they struck while the iron was hot. Like, it was like a perfect time to offer an alternative.
Oh, yeah. Like, if they had done it today, if they started right now, I don't think it would have gone as well for them, because WWE is now AEW still is better right now, but again, it's hard to say. You know, we can't compare it.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that right now.
Yeah. But if they had started now, it would be different, because WWE right now is on fire. I mean, from a monetary standpoint, they're selling out everywhere. I mean, bigger arenas than AEW books, twice as many fans as AEW, and selling out. And just their TV deal, they're about to get a huge TV deal they're going to, and The ratings are better than AEW. Just everything. And storytelling, a lot of people would say WWE's is better than AEW's. Meh. I mean, a couple. The Bloodline storyline's pretty good, pretty interesting. And that's a Paul Heyman thing.
Judgment Day storyline's good.
The Judgment Day, well, that's several different storylines.
Yeah.
The Balor and well, let's not get into all that. We're talking about Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So, anyways, they struck while the iron was hot. But that is in the documentary, the AEW stuff. That's how we got off on this tangent.
Mm-hmm.
The AEW stuff. And yeah, they left it in the documentary.
Yeah, because it's not just talking about All In and putting that show together. They do talk about AEW by name.
Yeah.
And briefly talk about his career, though. They show a few photos of the AEW crew, the wrestlers, and Tony Khan's picture is even in it, which I found that the most surprising thing. One, that they called it All Elite Wrestling and then referred to it as AEW thereafter. But, like, I didn't expect them to call it by name. But they did. I mean, they also mentioned Ring of Honor. They mentioned New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't edit anything out.
Yeah. And this was executive produced by Vince McMahon.
I know, I saw that.
And they didn't cut that shit out, which is, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think...
It's also
I don't think Vince saw the final cut of this. That's my belief. There's no way that Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr. saw the final cut of this with AEW in it and was like, it's fine. No.
Well, especially because, like...
I don't believe that.
They're currently booking possibly the biggest wrestling show ever called All In. Like...
Yeah.
It's like free advertisement for AEW, So, yeah, I found that surprising. But Cody Rhodes was also an executive producer on this, and so that could have been his insistence,
But let's not get all mired down in all that.
Yeah.
But they talk about his time in AEW, and of course they talk about how he exited there, and then they talk about his triumphant return to WWE and how Vince McMahon flew to Cody Rhodes' house by plane, of course, not superpower. Flew to his house in his private jet, and this story I'd heard before. He flew to his house in a private jet to woo him back, and talk to him, and got him to come back for the Royal Rumble, whatever year that was. What year was that? 2022? Yeah, 2022 Royal Rumble, I think it was. Wasn't it?
No, wasn't it WrestleMania that he came back for?
No, it was the 2022 Royal Rumble.
With Seth?
Oh, no, WrestleMania. You're right. I'm sorry,
yeah.
You're right. 22 WrestleMania. So that was like WrestleMania 38.
Yeah.
38, yeah.
He was the surprise opponent for Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And
which, can I say something about that? One thing that I found surprising was Corey Graves is in this, and he was saying that before WrestleMania started, like, even he didn't know who Seth's opponent was going to be, and he was announcing the match. Like, to me, that's such a well-kept secret that you kept it from the announce team. Like, that's surprising.
I guess that that shows you they think there's leaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they showed they had him in a golf cart, taking him around the backstage area, and they had him covered up.
Oh, I missed that.
You missed that? Yeah. They had him covered up, taking a golf cart around backstage. So, yeah, they just didn't want it to get around and are afraid because they know people are leaking information to certain internet people or newsletter people, dirt sheet people, as they're called in the wrestling biz.
Dave Meltzer, we're looking at you.
Dave Meltzer, Brian and Alvarez.
Yeah.
Who else? What's his name?
That's okay. It's beside the point.
But
they just did a really good job of keeping it under wraps, which was cool.
And so he comes back, and it's a big, has a huge ovation. And they're like, what if they don't know me? What if they haven't been watching AEW? What if they know me and don't like me because I'm the enemy? What if this? What if that? And he's down below the stage. He's in the Cody Vader, waiting to come up to the top of the stage. and he kind of looks at the documentary camera, and gives a little, wink and a smile, and then you hear the wrestling has more than one royal family, and then his music hits, and he comes up, and the crowd goes fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Crowd goes fucking crazy. And it was quite a moment. And of course, soon after this, he tore his pectoral muscle on his right side.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked gruesome. It looked like something out of a horror movie. It looked like a zombie bit him, and his arm was turning zombified,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like something out of a horror movie. And, but he wrestled at, what was it, Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell, yeah.
He wrestled Seth Rollins in the cell,
mm-hmm.
and still went through the match.
Mm-hmm. And won.
And apparently got doctors, to say, hey, look, there's no further damage he can do now.
Mm-hmm.
It's already fucked up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
But that's not to say anything about the amount of pain he was in. Like,
right.
Just because you can't damage it more than it's already been damaged doesn't mean it's not going to hurt like hell,
I'm sure he was on painkillers.
They left that part out of the documentary.
Yeah. I'm sure he got some painkillers. Mm-hmm. That was not included in the documentary yet.
Yeah.
What medications he may or may not have been on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just guessing superstar athlete gets, muscle torn and must compete, gets drugs. Just a guess.
Yeah, but even then, like he said at one point, he did a Cody cutter and he almost vomited because it hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So.
But he makes it through the match, and then, of course, returns the next year at the Royal Rumble, wins, and we get that huge match at WrestleMania 39 with Roman Reigns, where he could have finished the story, and, the whole reason he returned to WWE, one of the reasons he returned to WWE, to finish the story and win the title his father never could. Of course, Dusty Rhodes won the NWA World title several times, which, NWA later became WCW. NWA Mid-Atlantic, I should say, later became WCW. And Dusty Rhodes was the NWA champion multiple times, but when he went to WWF, never held the belt, never held any title in WWF. Dusty Rhodes, not one.
Speaking of Dusty Rhodes, I was surprised. He's in this documentary, like not just like in it, like they talk about him, but he's in it being interviewed. So they must have filmed.
No,
filmed
I think
this
that was an interview from something else.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it was from something
so,
else that they used.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Yeah. But so we get all the way up to that big WrestleMania match, and Cody talks about it and its outcome, and kind of what it means and how disappointing it was that he lost.
Yeah.
And it talks about how he's still here to finish the story, and they cut this very cinematic ending where he's alone and he's in the desert. He's like walking in the desert alone, and he's wearing his outfit where he's the Prince of Wrestling or whatever. You know what outfit I'm talking about. Where he's like the Prince of Wrestling, and where he's dressed like a Final Fantasy character.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks in the desert alone, and he finds something. He picks it up, he brushes the sand off it, and it's the WWF title belt from the 70s that his father never won. And that's how they end the documentary. And so he's still here in WWE, modern day, still trying to get the Rhodes family the WWE championship. And will he? Well, I fucking hope so, I was cheering for him as hard as I've cheered for anyone in WWE since, probably Kofi Kingston at the Kofi Mania, WrestleMania, whichever one that was. I can't remember. There's so many WrestleManias, I can't remember numbers anymore of when things happened. But whichever one the Kofi Mania one was the hardest I've cheered for anyone was for Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see him win and finish the story. He's my favorite in WWE for sure. And so this was pretty entertaining. And so take that for what you will. Like I said, he's my favorite guy, so maybe there's some bias there.
He's not my favorite guy. I mean, I like him, but he's not my favorite guy. And I still really enjoyed this. Like, it was super interesting. Great look at behind the scenes. Great job giving me a new perspective on Cody. Being able to look at him from, like, a different angle now. So I think it's worth a watch for that alone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they better give him the belt because after this, like, this is going to endear him to so many people.
I think so.
And
I think people really get a kick out of this.
Do this and then not give him the belt again.
Yeah.
That would wreck it.
He comes off in this so sincere and as so sincere a person and so heartfelt in the things that he does in life, whether it's raising his child or, you know, being with his family or wrestling, whatever it is, he's so heartfelt in doing it. You gotta like the guy. I mean, he just seems, you know, I hate to sound like he just seems like a great guy. He really does. I mean, I hate to gush over him, but I don't see how anyone can watch this and not come away with the feeling that, man, that Cody Rhodes seems like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause he just really does. You know, seems like a humble, funny, sincere person.
Yeah.
Who, you know, wears his heart on his sleeve to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
and believes in himself, and does what he thinks is right for him, and his family, and critics be damned, you know, and that's it's, you know, you got to root for somebody like that who bets on themselves and comes out the other side of it a better person, and also wins the bet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool perspective. And man, what the camera crew, the documentary crew rather, they lucked out. Talk about having the best time to have a crew around in AEW during the transitional time from being in the independents, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then back in WWE. I mean, all these years to have had a documentary going on,
Mm-hmm.
they really had a great period of time to have this cut. I mean, how fucking long was this camera crew with him?
Yeah, that's a good question.
For years.
Yeah.
Was with him for years. And they finally cut it together, and it's less than 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Which, how much fucking footage do you think they had? They
had
filmed
to,
for
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But they made a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's called American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes. It's on Peacock. I don't know where else you can see it. You probably can't see it anywhere else, I don't think. I think it's a Peacock exclusive. I would say it's worth getting Peacock for 1 month to watch. So...
Do you want to give it a bone rating?
I'm going to give it a bone rating. A very good movie. I give it... I give it 4 bones out of 5. Very good movie. Very entertaining. Not going to change your life or anything, which would be a 5-bone movie.
Mm-hmm.
But just very entertaining. Covered some things I already knew. Covered a lot of things I already knew. Yeah, just a like I said, very entertaining, interesting look at Cody Rhodes as a wrestler, as a man, as a person. Just very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So that's our review. Just wanted to share that with y'all, and yeah, if you're into wrestling behind the scenes and finding out more about these people that we spend so much time watching every week, I would definitely give this one a watch. American Nightmare, Becoming Cody Rhodes. So that is it for us right now. You will next hear from us sometime this week. I think maybe around Wednesday. We're going to do either Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to do our SummerSlam prediction show. And then, of course, Thursday, as usual, we'll have our AEW Dynamite report. So thanks for listening, and have a nice day. Bye.